Hey everybody, Sam Kavaris in the Nimnik Buick Video Sports Update. Yes, the Jaguars are 0-2 and they've lost in what you might call spectacular fashion in the first week and pretty dismal fashion in the second week. The game against Minnesota, everybody knows what happened there. They didn't play the last 20 seconds, certainly not correctly. But the game against Houston seemed to negate all the positive and good vibes from the preseason and even in coming out of game one against Houston. Mike Mularkey's response to that on Monday after the game was, look, it's only one game, and that's what I told the team. It's one game. We're not going to let that kind of negate everything that we've done. We've got to look at it, learn from it, and move on. Sometimes it's good to take a pretty good punch from somebody and see how you respond, and Mularkey really believes that the team is going to respond. It is disappointing to see Blaine Gabbert kind of revert when he does have pressure in his face to that guy last year as opposed to the guy that looked like he was playing in the preseason and also in the first game against the Vikings. But if, in the little time that we know Mularkey, if he is successful in the way he's trying to coach, these guys are going to get it together. They are going to play better. It's not an excuse to have injured players, but certainly the Jaguars with a makeshift offensive line and maybe their two best defensive starters not playing in Darryl Smith and Derek Cox certainly have something to do with producing the results that they're looking for. They go to Indianapolis this week, and as regrettable as it is, it's a winnable game. I mean, some games, like that game against Houston, a lot of fans were like, oh, it'll be fun to go. We're going to get beat, but at the same time, it'll be fun to go. And it was that, the rain and all that. Nonetheless, so many of the upgrades at the stadium people really appreciate, and I think that makes it a much more positive fan experience. On the road this week against Indianapolis, and then back-to-back home games against Cincinnati and Chicago. And they are, is that right? And they're both 4 o'clock games, so we'll talk more about that as we get closer. But, they're not panicking at the stadium. Mularkey and the staff are experienced. They know what's going on. They got a lot of years in the league, both as players and as coaches. And I think if you're a Jaguar fan, you need to have some confidence in what they're trying to do and how they're trying to build it, and hope that they have some success and you get rewarded with wins based on the success that they have on the field. The Gators' stomping of Tennessee, not completely unexpected. What was unexpected to see Tennessee stop competing in the second half, and I think that should bother an awful lot of people who are Vols fans as well as the coaching staff there. Nonetheless, Florida took advantage of that, tied the game up, ran all over the Vols. Jeff Driscoll was named the SEC Offensive Player of the Week, and rightfully so. Florida shouldn't get a test against Kentucky this week, although that game is at home. But eventually, we're going to find out. Is Florida better than Kentucky and Tennessee and Vanderbilt and teams like that? But are they better than South Carolina and Georgia and Auburn and Alabama and LSU and teams like that? And that's obviously where Gator fans want them to be. And it's hard to say what Florida State is doing because they're killing everybody. They were supposed to have a test against Wake Forest and just ran all over them like it was easy, because it was. So the Seminoles will be tested certainly against Clemson, and that game comes up Saturday at night game. Yeah, Saturday night over at Doak Camp. Lots of good high school football going on. Complete coverage of that coming up, obviously, on Friday nights. I'm Sam Kavaris, and that's the Nimnik Buick Video Sports Update.